In a recent video, I reviewed the Amaran F22c, and I found it to be a fantastic little matte light with one little problem, which wasn't a deal breaker for me, and so I highly recommend this matte. But then GVM reached out to me and told me that they had a matte light that they thought could compete against the Amaran F22c, and they said they would send it to me for free if I would review it. So, why not? Oh, at the end of this video, I'm going to compare both of these to a third option that you might want to consider. Now, this GVM light is still pretty expensive, but at the time I'm filming this, it's still $200 less than the Amaran light. So, let's put $200 on the plus side for GVM. All right, let's start with build quality. Now, both of these mats are 2 foot by 2 foot. Well, they line up pretty much the exact same size. And both of them have these little plastic ends on them that seem really nice. This one's a little bigger, but this one does the job. The Amaran has these little grommets in it. No grommets over here, but I think this is a mount here, a 1/4-20. Yeah, let's try this 1/4-20 mount on the GVM. Well, it's 1/4, but it's not 20. I really don't know what that is. Well, maybe that can be used for something in the future. We may never know. As far as build quality, they both seem very well made. Yeah, I'm going to call that one a tie. And they both got nice Velcro on the back. There's this fancy little colored Amaran sticker here. This one has the ballast just built right into it. Well, that's different. We'll talk about that in just a bit. They also have a strip that goes right here. This is a Velcro strip. This is not. Oh, and here's something that GVM has. These have interlocking mounts. So I guess if this were next to that, well, they could mount together. But since I only have one, well, I can't mount more together. That's kind of cool. So what's that worth to be able to lock these together? Well, come on. That's got to be worth another 20 bucks, right? Okay, so another $20 for the GVM. Yeah, they're off to a great start. All right, but now let's look at the mount. Yeah, let's get the GVM mount. Oh, the GVM mount comes in this really nice velvet case. Okay, this is kind of wild. Goes out like that, and these screw in, I guess, right? But now let's just see. Is that how that goes? Yeah, I think did I do it like that? All right. I might want to look at the manual. Well, the manual is of little help. I think you just got to force it in there. Yeah, here we go. Got it. Okay. Then I get one of those under there. Okay. And then one over here like this. I'm sure I'd get better at this if I had to do it every day. There we go. All right, one more. Okay, well, there it is on, and, you know, it's pretty secure once you get it on. I'm not super thrilled about this. Let me show you the Amaran. It's a lot better. Well, the Amaran also comes in a bag. It's nylon, not velour. It has the same sort of fold everything out, but these just kind of fold and click in, just like that, so a lot faster. And then there's a little spring on the end here. And because they're springed, well, they just go like that. Okay, that sets up a lot easier. What's that worth to me? Well, that's probably worth, well, at least that 20 bucks I gave earlier. Yeah, let's take that back. Oh, but this does bring up another difference, and that's that the power cord that's connected to the mat, well, it's always connected. You can't take it on or off. Whereas on the GVM, well, you can plug it in and out. And that makes it so that you can set this up without having that wire hanging around. But then again, that might affect the dust resistance and weather sealing, which we'll get to in a little while. Oh, and one other small difference. The GVM has 8 less LEDs than the Amaran. And what's that worth? I have no idea. We'll find out when we get to the brightness test. But before we do that, let's talk about the cases. The Amaran comes in this fancy little case here, kind of a hard, soft shell. There is such a thing. Yeah, it's super nice. This is a very nice case. Oh, and the GVM case, though, it looks kind of like an aperture case. Yeah, that must be a total coincidence, right? It's nice inside, very padded. This is also a great case. So, is there a difference? Well, yeah, they're a little different, but I'm not exchanging any money for these because, you know what? They're both great cases. And I appreciate great cases. Now, to attach these things to a light stand, I'm going to have to use the included adapters, and they both include pretty much the same type of adapter, only this one by Amaran, it's actually an aperture one, appears to me to be mostly metal. Yeah, seems to be pretty strong. So I tighten that. Yeah, that's pretty good. This one is mostly all plastic. It's simply not as good. So what's the difference there? Well, this isn't the greatest, but this is kind of crappy. So I'm going to probably have to buy another one. That's probably going to cost me about 15 bucks. So $15 away for GVM. Okay, the GVM, it's worse than I thought. I can't even loosen it. If I go to loosen it, it's still tightened because basically it's not actually loosening the, I don't know what's going on here. Here, I'm taking the whole thing apart. Oh, now I broke it. Okay, that was a little embarrassing. In fact, so much so that I'm taking another $5 away from GVM. Yeah, pretty much out of spite for making me look like a fool. Okay, so since this isn't working, I'm going to use my all-time favorite such adapter. This is really expensive, but I'm really glad I bought it because when you're setting up and down all the time, there's nothing better than an adapter that is just going to work rock solid every time. I'll leave a link down in the description if you have some money to burn on an adapter like this. But now finally, the brightness test. Let's turn off the Amaran. Do that pretty quickly. And then let's go to the app on the GMV. Let's turn that up all the way to 100%. Yeah, super bright. Now let's go back to the Amaran, turn it on. It's at 7% now. Let's turn it all the way up. Well, to me, these are pretty identical. They're both 2000 watts and they both produce a very, very bright light. I measured both of them at about 2400 lumens, about a foot away. Although my light meter is not to be relied on and it's kind of crappy and it jumps around quite a bit. If you do me a favor though and subscribe, well, maybe then I could make enough money off this YouTube channel to buy one of those fancier light meters. Yeah, just saying. Now, both of these lights have a bunch of effects. GMV has 16 different effects, including things like party. Let's get that going. Yeah, feeling the party. Cop car and party are kind of alike. Ambulance, not to be confused with cop car. Or fire engine, which is apparently nothing like cop car or ambulance. So if having more effects is important to you, well, you're going to want to get the GVM. What's that worth to me? Well, probably, well, let's say $1. Yeah, not worth a lot to me. As far as I can tell, the quality of these lights are about the same. They're both fantastic. Here, I'll put the specs on the screen and you can compare it for yourself. Oh, and as far as I can tell, the app control on both of these lights is fantastic. I can get to everything that I need. It's pretty easy to just dial it right in. It has dimming curves, a green and magenta shift. That's on both of these lights. Yeah, pretty awesome app control. Now, while they're both great apps, they're not the same app, so I have to switch back and forth between apps. And when I go to the studiolight app, well, it brings me back to here, and I've got to check it again, and it has to kind of reload it. And that's kind of a pain. When I go to the GVM light, well, it's already there, ready to go. So that's kind of cool. I assume that I can put several GVM lights on this same app. I mean, it seems like there's place for it in here. Yes, you can put them in here, and you can create groups, just like in the studiolight app. But I would want to have all of them on one app, which means that if I bought the GVM, well, I'd probably have to replace my other lights because, yeah, I'm that anal retentive. Now, there are some other things to consider. Both of them come with a little box where you can put some diffusion on, and also has an egg crate grid. The Amaran is very, very nice, and it comes with these 2 diffusers of different strengths. Oh, that's nice. The GVM comes with 1 diffuser. That's pretty nice, but it is nice having 2, especially a lighter and a heavy one. I'm going to take back $7. Yeah, not the biggest difference, but a difference. Now, the box itself on the GVM is also well made. In fact, it looks kind of like an exact copy of the Amaran. Oh, and the egg crate on the GVM, yeah, that's very nice too. So no money exchanges hands there. So as you can see, the GVM is doing really well against the Amaran as far as value. And it's going to get even more so when I show you the next thing, which is the one problem I have with the Amaran light. And that's the fan in this control box. Now, this control box is pretty awesome because, well, it gives you a lot of function on it, and you can control the intensity and everything right from the box. It also gives you these little presets, so that's pretty cool. But it makes a noise. Not the worst noise in the world, and certainly you can take it out quite easily, and I showed how to take that out in my last video on my review of this light. So it's not a deal killer, but you need to know that it makes a noise. There is no ballast like this on the GVM. The ballast is just built in right to the back, a little strip, and so it doesn't have a fan, so it doesn't have any fan noise. What's that worth to me? Well, that's probably worth another 40 bucks. Yeah, kind of a big deal for me. But there is one thing I like about having the ballast off of the light, and that is, in this case, I can connect a V-mount battery straight to the back of this. Now, this is the brick, and there's a brick for this one as well. The brick is about the same size, but it has a short little cable on it, so it just kind of hangs down there. On the Amaran, there's a very long cord that you can use to separate the ballast from the brick quite a lengthy distance. There's also this extension cord that can extend the cable from the ballast to the light another 6 or 7 feet. This is pretty awesome. What's that worth? Well, gonna have to take back another 10 bucks. Yeah, this is really nice to have a lot of cable rather than a little short cable. Oh, but now for the real superpower of the Amaran light, well, you can take this brick off and you can control it with a V-mount battery. So put that on there and yeah, that's pretty cool. And what's that worth? Well, that's probably worth at least another $50. That's a big deal. If you're going to use this light at all on battery power, well, I think you're going to want the Amaran. Now, another potential benefit to having the ballast off of the mat is that this seems pretty sealed up in the front and the back, as well as at the connection here. So this would be susceptible to rain and dust, whereas that, I think, will not be. Can't say that for the GMV because, well, I'm pretty confident that this is not sealed up at all because the ballast is exposed. But you know what? Neither one of these companies are bragging about these being weather resistant at all. Neither has an IP rating. So I wouldn't put that in the rain or this one in the rain. And I'm telling you not to put it in the rain. But if I had to put one in the rain, I would put this in the rain and I would cover this. All right, you didn't hear that. Oh, and a last minute for some professionals, this actually has an ability to have wired DMX. There is a USB-C cable here for that purpose. So if you need that, well, this is going to be your light because I don't think that's in the GVM, at least as far as I can tell. And I'm not exchanging your money for that because I like using the app on my phone. Well, I can now see why GVM wanted to send me their mat and compare it with the Amaran because it's significantly cheaper, and as far as value is concerned, well, it holds its own. But now I want to talk about an alternative to either one of these mats, and that's getting a light that's a COB light with a softbox on it rather than a mat. Here, let me show you one of my favorite lights. It's the Amaran F22c. This is going to cost you about half of what these lights in the back will cost you, and it's full color, and it's very powerful, and it's much more versatile, actually. So why would you pay twice as much for these lights when you could get this light that's so awesome? Well, it comes down to size. So here in my studio, I use a matte light because there simply isn't enough room for a large softbox on this side. Yeah, that's why I paid a lot more money so I could put one there. If I had a larger softbox, well, I'd have to put it somewhere else. But if I had more room here, this and a softbox would do just as well for half the money. Hey, if you're looking for tips and tricks on how to become a better filmmaker, I would ask you to subscribe to my channel, or at least watch another one of my videos. And YouTube thinks you should watch that video right over there, because come on, they know you better than you know yourself. Hey, thanks for stopping by.